The Whispering Shadows. In the quiet town of Eldridge, where the river whispered secrets to the willows, lived a young carpenter named Elias. At 25, Elias was a man of skilled hands but restless thoughts. His workshop, tucked behind a row of ivy-cloaked cottages, hummed with the scent of fresh pine and sawdust. Yet, beneath the rhythmic tap of his hammer lay a storm. A mind that wandered like a thief in the night, stealing his focus, his dreams, and his resolve. Elias had once been the pride of Eldridge. As a boy, he'd carve intricate birds from driftwood, their wings seeming to flutter in the sunlight. But as years passed, the weight of expectation pressed down. His father, a stern master craftsman, had passed away, leaving behind a ledger of unpaid debts and a half-finished commission for the mayor as grand mantelpiece. A masterpiece of oak and walnut that demanded precision no storm could shake. The deadline loomed like a thunderhead, 3 weeks away. Elias knew he could finish it, but his mind betrayed him daily. It began with whispers. Why rush? The shadows in his head would murmur as he sanded the edges smooth. A little nap won't hurt, or a pint at the tavern. Honest men deserve rest. Discipline, that iron anchor his father had preached, felt like chains. And honesty? Elias told himself small lies to soothe the guilt. I'll start fresh tomorrow. This flaw in the grain? No one will notice. But the wood didn't lie. It revealed every hasty cut, every distracted chisel stroke. The mantelpiece grew crooked, its curves mocking his faltering will. One fog-shrouded evening, as rain pattered against the workshop's tin roof, Elias sat slumped over his workbench. The half-formed mantle stared back, a testament to his unraveling. His best friend Mira, a weaver with eyes like polished amber, knocked gently on the door. She entered without waiting, her shawl dripping, carrying a loaf of rye bread and a flask of herbal tea. Her quiet way of saying, "I see you." "You're drowning in your own head, Elias," she said, settling on a stool. Her voice was steady, like the warp threads she wove into tapestries of unyielding beauty. "That mind of yours, it's a wild river, isn't it? Flooding with what-ifs and maybes. But rivers can be dammed, guided, controlled." Elias laughed bitterly, tracing a finger along a splintered edge. "Controlled? Mira, every day I promise myself, today I'll work till dusk. No shortcuts." But then the whispers come. One more story from the traveler's tales. One more game of dice. And honesty? What's honest about admitting I'm failing? Father would roll in his grave. Mira leaned forward, her gaze piercing the gloom. "Your father didn't build empires with blind strength, Elias. He controlled his mind like a sculptor shapes clay. Remember the story he told? The one about the old oak that stood through tempest not because it was unbreakable, but because its roots chose depth over drift. Honesty isn't just speaking truth to others. It's facing the lies you tell yourself. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the bridge from whisper to roar." She paused, unwrapping the bread. "Let me tell you of a weaver I once knew. Me, in my foolish youth. I had a loom full of silk for the queen's gown, deadline tighter than a noose. My mind screamed distractions, gossip in the market, a forbidden romance. I wove lies into the threads, skipping patterns, hiding flaws with dye. The gown tore on the queen's first wear, and shame swallowed me whole. But then, in the ruins of that failure, I learned, control your mind, and it bends to you. I confessed every shortcut to my master, disciplined my hands with dawn to dusk toil, no excuses. The next gown? A legend. And me? Stronger than silk." Elias chewed the bread slowly, the words sinking like rain into parched soil. That night, as Mira left, he lit a single lantern and faced the mantelpiece. The whispers returned, louder now. "It's too late. Rest. Lie to yourself. Say it's good enough." But for the first time, he listened not to obey, but to defy. "No," he thought, his voice a quiet thunder in his skull. "I choose truth." This wood deserves my best, as does the man carving it." He began with honesty, admitting every flaw. With a steady hand, he marked the errors, the uneven bevels, the rushed joints, and dismantled them piece by piece. No shortcuts. Discipline became his ally. He set the lantern to burn only until the first cock crow, forcing his body to match his will. When doubts clawed in, he whispered back, "Not today. I control this river." Mornings blurred into evenings. Sawdust clung to his skin like a second shadow. He ate simple meals at the bench, slept in snatches on a pallet of shavings. The mind, once a tyrant, became a servant, focused, fierce, unyielding. 2 weeks in, the mantelpiece reborn. Its arches soared like cathedral vaults, inlaid with walnut vines that seemed to pulse with life. No lies hid its seams. Every joint sang of honest labor. Elias stepped back, hammer heavy in his calloused palm, and felt the shift, a quiet power blooming in his chest. The whispers, silent, tamed. On the eve of the deadline, the mayor arrived with fanfare, his carriage rumbling like applause. He ran reverent fingers over the wood, eyes widening. "Elias, this is more than craft. It's soul." The payment cleared the debts twice over, but the true reward came later in the quiet hours. Elias stood in his workshop, the river's murmur a lullaby outside. Mira joined him, her latest tapestry draped over her arm, threads of gold and crimson woven without flaw. "You did it," she said, smiling, "controlled the storm." "Not just the storm," Elias replied, his voice steady as oak roots. "Myself, and in that control, freedom. Honesty sharpened my edge, discipline forged my fire. Now, the world bends to me, not the other way around." From that day, Elias's birds flew higher in his carvings, his mind a clear sky. He taught apprentices not with lectures, but with the story of the whispering shadows, how a man, lost in his head, found his power by choosing truth over temptation, resolve over retreat. And in Eldridge, where whispers still lingered in the willows, one carpenter's tale became a beacon. Control your mind, and you control your destiny. For in honesty and discipline lies the unshakable strength to rise, again and again.